Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the Newshour Special Edition this Saturday evening, and I'm Hina Gambhir. Viewers, the mayhem unleashed by the profit-making corporate is now 5 days old. It was another day of mass cancellations, chaos and frustration. Those in Hawaii chappals and boots and sandals stayed stranded. The airline, which has 65% market share in India's aviation sector, kept majority of its planes parked or charged exorbitant fares from passengers. Passengers continued to reach airports fooled by assurances and kept waiting to lack of information. Viewers, coffins are lying undelivered at airports as people never suspected flights will be pulled off like this. Patients are seriously ill. They are trapped. Students and people with joining letters of jobs are in lurch today. If 1,500 flights were cancelled yesterday, another 800 flights were cancelled today. Before I get you those details as to, the kind of measures the government is really taking right now, listen in to the ordeal of the passengers. These are victims of the airline once known for its on-time performance, an airline that enjoys 65% market share.
कल मेरी शादी हुई और आज सुबह विदाई हुई एंड हमारा ये था कि 3:30-4 बजे तक हमारी फ्लाइट है, बट आके पता चलता है कि फ्लाइट डिले है या फिर कैंसिल हो सकती है। ये पूरा श्योरिटी भी नहीं दे रहा कि कैंसिल है। आपकी शादी कहाँ हुई? गुड़गांव, धनकोट, झारसुगड़ा, उड़ीसा।
तो आपकी फैमिली कहाँ है?
अभी मेरी फैमिली सारी गुड़गांव है।
एयरलाइन से कोई कम्युनिकेशन?
जी नहीं, वो तो पूरी श्योरिटी दे ही नहीं रहे हो कि डिले है या फिर कैंसिल है।
I was traveling from Hyderabad to Lucknow. The flight gets cancelled. They don't inform me. They give me a replacement or an alternative option, routing me through Bangalore.
Okay.
I run around, just about to miss my flight for Bangalore. I come here, then the connecting flight to Lucknow is again cancelled. My wife is pregnant. I had to be there. If you had to send me somewhere, you should have sent me to Delhi. I could have at least walked over there in 2 days. Who's going to pay for the 2 days that they have stranded me over here? I got to take a hotel, first wait for 5 hours to get my check-in itself.
Actually, there are no clear communications. There is a lack of communication even between the CISF staff and the Indigo crew members. The consistent delays, right? They are not giving any prior information, intimation or notification in any way. There are situations when they are just cancelling the flights 15 to 20 minutes before. So yeah, this is the situation. It's a worse situation. It's not just me who is getting impacted. There are a lot of people. It is just an injury for me, but maybe a couple of having some health issues, some family issues going on, maybe some occasions, right?
कैंसल हो गई हमारी। मेरी बेटी की एंगेजमेंट है आज, उसकी एंगेजमेंट है। देखो ये सब सामान उसका, उसके हाथ की मेहंदी देखो, मेरे हाथ की मेहंदी देखो। आज शाम को 7 बजे उसकी एंगेजमेंट है। इतने इमरजेंसी टाइम पे भी वो हेल्प नहीं कर रहे ना। हमने बोला हमको जाने दो, हम अंदर जाके टिकट निकालते हैं पोजीशन देख के फ्लाइट की। सब मेहमान आए हैं, दुल्हन ही नहीं है वहाँ।
Like these, viewers, there are a number of stories that we have got over the last few days because of Indigo's crisis. The CEO of Indigo yesterday showed up with a half-baked explanation and a watery apology. Now, he said in one line in which he almost admitted this cancellation madness, how this perhaps was planned. He said, and I quote, "Cancellations were for today and made as to align our crew and planes to be where they need to start fresh tomorrow morning," unquote. Now, we are told that after the DGCA and Ministry of Civil Aviation provided relief to the airline, the Prime Minister's office also stepped in to assess the situation. Aviation Ministry was forced to summon the Indigo officials again today to fix the mess. In fact, remember, some token measures were announced today as well. So in total, let's explain to you the kind of measures that have been announced by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Indigo has been asked to issue refunds by 7th of December, 8 p.m., which is tomorrow. A deadline has been given from, the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Action number 2, airfares have been capped for scheduled domestic airlines. This is another move, another knee-jerk reaction, as many are calling it, that has been taken. Weekly rest rule for pilots stands withdrawn. Then Indigo has been asked to set up refund and support cells because people are not getting clarity as to where to go, who to talk to. Indigo has also been asked to deliver misplaced bags of the passengers in 48 hours. So these are some directions that have gone from the government side to Indigo. Now, after 5 long days, the government finally decided to put a cap on the soaring airfares on the domestic scheduled domestic flights. What are the new prices and how much will you have to pay? Now, here are the details. Now, remember, because of the grounding of the planes, because of cancellation of flights, the ticket prices of the alternate flights went up. So now, this is the change that has been brought in. Up to 500 kilometers, maximum fare is going to be 7,500 rupees. Now, this is what the government has said. What does it mean? It means a Delhi-Jaipur flight, Delhi-Chandigarh flight, Delhi-Lucknow flight, you know, the distance that you have in these regions, these flights are going to cost you up to 7,500 rupees as per government's new fare caps. If the distance is between 500 to 1,000 kilometers between the two destinations, then the maximum fare can be 12,000 rupees. So there is a cap there. Now, what does it mean? What will come in this particular range? Delhi to Mumbai, Delhi to Pune. Now, this is very important because usually Delhi to Mumbai does not cost 12,000 rupees. Delhi to Mumbai actually used to cost some 4,000 to 5,000, but now the maximum fare can be 12,000. Then if you talk about 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers, if that's the distance between two destinations, the maximum fare that the airlines can charge can be 15,000 rupees. It can't be more than that, which is Delhi to Kolkata. For those of you who fly regularly from Delhi to Kolkata and vice versa, know that even 15,000 is way too much. Then lastly, you've got, the destinations where distance is above 1,500 kilometers, the fare is going to be 18,000 maximum, which is like Delhi to Bengaluru, Delhi to Chennai. Again, frequent flyers will know that Delhi to Bengaluru in usual circumstances used to cost somewhere around, again, 5,000 to 7,000, but now up to 18,000 is something that will be the maximum fare that has been allowed. Now, this has been done because the fares to these destinations have skyrocketed. I mean, let me bring you those details as well. Now, despite this, the ticket prices are on fire. Passengers are not only reeling under the mismanagement on the airports, but are also being targeted with unimaginable airfares. Let's take you through the airfares. Despite this particular directive, despite this order from the government side, just look how the airfares are right now. So today, for example, if somebody is at Delhi airport, wants to travel to Mumbai, the flight has been cancelled, the regular Indigo flight, but has no option but, wants to travel to Mumbai, then there is an option at 10:30 p.m. But be prepared to give 31,687 rupees. 31,687 SpiceJet. Air India is going to charge you around 31,231 at 11:45. That's the flight. The cheapest flight is going to cost you 13,477. So this is an example that we are now trying to give you, that despite the order, this is where the fares stand right now. If you want to fly from Delhi to Hyderabad, Air India 11 p.m. flight is going to cost you, viewers, 61,000 rupees 245, and then Air India Express 10:15 is going to cost you 34,841. The minimum cheapest flight you will get if you are in an emergency situation, you want to fly from Delhi to Hyderabad, be prepared to give 26,000 rupees. So that is the condition right now, even after the order has gone to the airlines. Look at another example, Delhi to Bengaluru, 11:45 p.m. the next flight, 59,000, close to 60,000 you will have to spend if you want to go from Delhi to Bangalore, and if it's an emergency for you. Air India Express is going to charge you 48,439 rupees for one ticket. The cheapest flight is going to cost you at least 25,000 rupees, and this is Delhi to Bengaluru. Now, this is what is happening even as the order has gone from the government side to, the airline. So this is something which we are going to be discussing in the show today, as to what should really the passengers be doing and what should the government be doing in a situation like this. And viewers, this is a show for you. The numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screens. Pick up the phone and call us and share with us if you also had to go through a very difficult time because of this crisis that we saw over the last few days. Share with us your experience, and we'll of course ensure that action is taken. So we debate tonight, viewers, not just who will compensate the passengers, but how will that happen and who will be answerable for this mess that we are into and this suffering that the passengers are in fact going through. And to join me on this debate, I have with me my guests. We have Tushar Gupta, who's a political analyst, Sujit Paul, industry expert, Kapil Madan, advocate and political analyst, Captain Amit Singh, aviation expert and founder, Safety Matters Foundation, Abha Singh, who's a lawyer and an activist. We also have with us Suhail Seth, who's a columnist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. Suhail Seth, let me begin this discussion with you. This is absolutely unprecedented, the situation that we are into right now. What do you make of the way the government is handling this entire situation, and where should the passengers really go? I mean, we have statements after statements, that are coming from Indigo. We apologize for what has happened. Please cooperate with us. But then the situation on the ground is heartbreaking. Somebody is missing the daughter's engagement. Somebody had his wife's delivery, could not reach the destination. I mean, these are real issues.
So with due respect, I will take some time in order to clarify a couple of issues. And on this panel, you have, people like Abha and all who are experts in their field. I've also served on the British Airways Global Advisory Board, so I know a thing or two about airlines. So let's start at the beginning. Number one, Indigo was not taken by surprise because of the directives of the High Court, which were then channeled through the Ministry of Civil Aviation. So for these people to then fool the public and to make it out to seem like a catastrophic accident is the worst form of pernicious non-transparency I've ever seen. Hina, I sent out a tweet earlier this evening saying that 5 steps need to be taken. Number one, you need to sack Peter Elbers, because these people think that Indian citizens and Indian passengers can be taken for a ride. Number two, impose a penalty of 4,000 crores. Number three, please make sure every passenger is refunded the following: his airfare, conveyance charges, because people went back and forth the airports. Number three, hotel expenses. And number four, carrier thing. Only one thing, Hina, and I'll say this to you because A, I'm older, and B, I've understood the facts. There's only one mistake that you've made in your graphics when you began. Air India and in Air India Express on the 4th of December, because I'm a member of their flying returns program or whatever it is, we all got emails saying that Air India and Air India Express are capping the fares. So the fares that you're quoting are the fares on third-party travel aggregators. So you ask a Tushar or you ask any one of these experts, if you go to a Make My Trip or any one of those travel aggregators, you will get that fare. A, B, whether it is Air India or Air India Express, Airline B, C, D, they can only control what we call direct route fares. But if it's a third-party fare, let's say if Hina Gambhir is going from Delhi to Bombay to Goa, and Goa to Doha and Qatar, that fare cannot be controlled. Now, I would give advice through your brilliant channel to people is, in order to get the best transparency, and here I trust the House of Tata more than I trust anyone else, go onto their websites, because these fares are capped. And Air India and Air India Express took a proactive decision, which brings me to point number two. Why did the government react so late? Can I tell you, I'm not even bothered about someone's engagement being missed. I'm worried about 3 things. There are children who are missing their examinations. Yes. There are senior citizens who are missing medical emergency and medical care. And third is you have people, simple, honorable, honest passengers who've saved a lot of money to fly, and they're being left in the lurch. What were Indigo's issues? It is their goddamn arrogance. And please remember, all these people are saying duopoly. It is actually a monopoly. They have more than 65% market share. So where is the duopoly? It is primarily a monopoly. Number two, Air India and Air India Express and SpiceJet have shown losses. Akasa has shown losses. These
Right.
people have shown profit of more than 8,000 crores. So you are profiteering. Number three, and this is a very important point, Henna. I am amazed at the ridiculous apology that was delivered by these Johnnies from Indigo. They behaved like shameless louts, irresponsible, uncaring, as if they didn't give a damn about the Indian citizen or the Indian traveler. My advice would be first sack the DGCA chief as well. Peter Elbers must go. But tell me, what is the board of Indigo doing? They have some eminent people. Now what will happen is the following. Let's say if an Abha is traveling or if a Tushar is traveling.
Right.
Look at the plane that you have sent them through. Schedules have gotten whacked.
Yes.
People have missed job employment opportunities. People have missed job interviews. So I'm saying Indigo has behaved in the most irresponsible manner. And let me tell you, Henna, hamare desh mein na, when you take their money, that pinches them the most. You say a rap on the knuckles, they don't care. They just don't care. And Abha, I will entreat Abha to tell us what is the legal position of the passengers on this.
Well, absolutely.
Because in Europe,
Yes.
there is a charter of passenger
Yes.
rights.
Yes.
That charter should be similarly copied here.
And
but
that is
let Abha
exactly
tell us.
the reason why we have got Abha and, other people on this panel tonight, because tonight we want to focus on what can the passengers do, what should the passengers do, because passengers are saying, boss, apology is not enough. What you've done with us, we are not going to tolerate it, because even that apology from the CEO, by the way, came on day 4 when 1,500 odd flights were cancelled.
Irresponsible
As
human
if
being.
the airline did not know that these new rules were supposed to kick in from 1st of November. Now, I also want to quickly get in our viewers as well who are also joining this debate, and then I'll open this up for my other panelists as well. Bhavesh is joining us from Thane. Good evening, Bhavesh.
Good evening, Hannah. This apology is not at all acceptable. People have paid 4x, 5x fares to go. That also needs to be refunded, which they have paid on other airlines. They had no option but to go. I had to cancel my business trip, which I could do it. But the person who had already gone, to come back, there was no option. They had to pay. And it should be refunded.
All right.
And why disciplinary action should not be taken on Indigo?
All right. Bhavesh, thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. Venkatesh is live with us from Hyderabad as well. Good evening, Venkatesh. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Hina. I want to congratulate you for this brilliant coverage, what you're doing. I wish to bring attention to a issue which is not discussed. Basically, all the aggregators, which is the Clear Trip, the IBBOs and all, they are charging a convenience fee, right? Now, while Indigo has assured over the tweet that they will be refunding the fare, no questions asked for the bookings, which is between 5th to 15th, whereas the convenience fee is still being charged, which is, I think, not very fair. On the consumers. I think this issue needs to be discussed, and this amounts to a lot of money, actually. Imagine.
Absolutely. That's the reason why we are asking viewers to call us and share with us, because what they are facing on the ground is something that's not even being, I think, shared with the government, and that's the reason why these knee-jerk reactions, are happening. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. Sanjeev is also live with us from New Delhi. Good evening, Sanjeev. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good evening, Hina. I'm an ex-Air Force personnel and worked with Aviation for more than 10 years now. I have 3 points to make. The first, despite of given this new system by the DGCA, was DGCA sleeping all these years? Why couldn't they raise the red flag? Are they not in cahoots with Indigo? Indigo is, this particular incident shows that Indigo is taking the DGCA for granted. Being the biggest airline, they can do anything. Number 1. Number 2, Indigo is charging a convenience fee for every ticket you book. Now, with every ticket, they charge you for per person, 450 rupees per person convenience charge. Is Indigo or / DGCA going to take an action to make them pay for the inconvenience charge which they have gone through. Because the person, when he comes to the airport, he spends on taxi, he spends his time, his personal problems. And I can see with your report on the news what people have gone through.
Yes.
So is DGCA going to make sure that Indigo pays for that inconvenience? Because the DGCA is approving that convenience fee of 450, for which Indigo is doing nothing. I'm making a ticket online and I'm paying 450 extra rupees for
absolutely. Yes, those are relevant issues you have raised, Mr. Sanjeev. Appreciate you speaking with us here on Times Now. Let me now go across to my guests as well. Abha Singh, I believe you also have been a victim of what has happened in the country because of Indigo?
Absolutely. I was supposed to come to Delhi yesterday and Indigo was cancelled. I had to take Air India, paid exorbitant prices, and now I have to go back tomorrow. I have something very urgent in Mumbai, and in spite of you telling that there is been a capping on these fares, let me tell you, I have the fare in my hand. Tomorrow 9:30 Air India flight, I have got an economy ticket for 29,000 rupees.
My God.
So all I can say is that I'm reminded that Nero twiddled his thumb while Rome burned. So I think DGCA, the government is twiddling his thumbs, is helpless. Indigo has brought the government to its feet, that the government had to withdraw the circular of rostering of the pilots or their fatigue hours. So it is shocking that 4 days have passed, and where people are saying compensation, let me tell you, the Civil Aviation Rules 3 say that all you will get is your cancelled ticket amount, and if it is more than 6 hours delay, you can get a hotel accommodation, and cash compensation is very rare, and that too given if there is if it is an issue related to crew or something, but that also would be a further inquiry, and then only any compensation, if at all. Flights are not bound to give you compensations beyond the flight ticket refund and food and hotel. So people who have lost hotel bookings, have not reached marriages or health issues, it is not going to be easy for them to get anything out of this Indigo. And I think DGCA is the one who should apologize, not Indigo, because they are the ones senior bureaucrats sitting over there who have not looked into it when they had brought in these guidelines. Why had they not ensured that it is implemented? Also, how did you allow monopoly? You finished Go Air, you finished Jet, you finished all the airlines, and everything you gave to Indigo. Should the conduct of the Minister of Civil Aviation, not today's, the past 3, I would say 10 years, not looked into that? Why was Indigo benefited at the cost of others? That today a common man is helpless. People like us are paying up for a flight for which we should pay 5,000, 29,000 to go back. And people are lying at the airport. What is this? And let me tell you, they will not give you anything because the law does not prescribe for it.
Captain,
number one, investigation should be done, and I agree with Sohail Seth. Number one, the Secretary Civil Aviation should step down. In fact, he should be suspended for bringing the country to a halt.
Captain Amit Singh, now these are important issues. I mean, what should be done? What can be done in a scenario like this?
Well, this scenario has been engineered. It is not that there is a big training issue or a pilot shortage issue. This has been developing since September, if I may say, because Indigo proposed and DGCA further came out with a draft circular of a new type of a flight duty time limitation called fatigue risk management system, in which you can have flexible hours. Right now you have prescriptive hours, you can fly 10 hours or 13 hours. So they wanted something which has a prescriptive, not beyond the prescriptive, which is flexible. You can fly more depending on your route. So to fit your route, you can fly a pilot more. But that was being introduced through a circular. A circular cannot formulate a regulation. A circular can only give you guidance on how to implement a policy. So they wanted to get it through a circular, which was a shortcut wherein public was eliminated. Normal policy framework is A draft is put out for 30 days. Public comments are invited. Then the public comments are disposed either way. Then the regulation comes into force. Here it was just a circular through which they wanted to introduce this methodology, which is a very complicated one, data-driven, and which the airlines are not capable, not even DGCA. How can DGCA approve a policy on which they are not trained? They don't know how the system works, the mechanics of it. So that is what the plan A was. Every airline was given implementation of December. And that did not happen because the pilot bodies intervened that this is not the way it has to be done. So Indigo threw a tantrum that if you don't do it our way, this is what will happen. So these are the consequences. Let me tell you, the viewers, how a pilot's roster is built. It is not built for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. The training is forecast for 3 years. For the next 3 years, how many pilots we require? For next 1 year, 6 months, they confirm the slots and pay the training organization. And first, the leaves are planned. That so many pilots will be on leave, so many pilots will be on training. Whatever pilots are left, can they manage the schedules? On to winter schedule was introduced on 26th of October, which means the airlines applied online 2 months before, and they increased the schedule by 6%. 900 flights per week they increased. So if you go as per the DGCA can at max penalize Indigo for 1 crore, they'll pay it instantly through Paytm. But if you go for the Competition Commission of India, there's a clause for abuse of dominant position. Indigo is in a dominant position with more than 60%, and they can be fined up to 10%. They can be fined up to 10% of their average turnover of the last 3 years, which will amount to close to 7,000 crores. So that is what has to be done to pinch them. Then a fund has to be created. Indigo should not be allowed to refund. A fund has to be formed of 1,000 crores from which there has to be a transparent payback. So there's a difference between refund and compensation. Refund is what I've paid.
Yes,
but
very right.
Compensation is what I've suffered. So at least there's a rule in Europe called 261, under which you can be compensated instantly 6 months. So at least pay 75,000 per person as a compensation for senior citizen, children, suffering medical 2 lakhs. That kind of fund has to be created. So that example has to be set up. DGCA cannot investigate themselves. They formed a committee of 4 people of DGCA, and DGCA does an audit every year. What do they check in the rostering system? They're supposed to give an example that if 20 pilots are missing, will the rostering system give a pop-up, a warning? So that is the audit they do every year. So what kind of audit is happening? So the whole system is kind of fragile. Every time there's a pressure test, the system collapses.
Absolutely.
It's different that we are resilient.
I know Suhail Singh wants to come in. Okay, 10 seconds only, Suhail, and then I'll go across to my other guests.
Just one thing. Everything is possible. There's an accident, there's a catastrophe, there's this and this. Look at the way Indigo communicated. Look at the way people in charge of the management communicated. Look at the contrast. When the terrible accident happened with Air India on the 12th of June this year, the first person to get to Ahmedabad was N. Chandrasekharan, the chairman of Tata Sons. Have you seen the promoters of Indigo? Have you seen the board of Indigo? Have you seen anyone? No one. What did they take India and Indian passengers for? Is this their impunity and their arrogance? And I totally agree with the gentleman who spoke before me. It is collusion. It is connivance, and it is the worst form of deception that has been played on the Indian people by an airline that you have allowed to grow at the cost of passenger benefit.
Right. Tushar Gupta, I mean, this is blackmail.
Absolutely.
This is blackmail, and why was it even allowed? I mean, my simple point is, if this new regime kicked in from 1st of November, for a month, what were we waiting for? Nobody in the government was aware of what's happening with Indigo. Nobody in DGCA was aware of what's happening with Indigo. It's only when the situation went out of complete control that we have everybody coming together and saying, oh, now we need to get rid of these rules. We need to keep them in abeyance for some time. What is happening in this country, in the aviation sector, Tushar Gupta?
It's rather weird, Hina, because 18 months ago, when these rules were notified, when these were discussed with the stakeholders, and Indigo being a critical shareholder in the Indian aviation sector, they must have signed up for these rules. It's not possible that the government went ahead and notified these new rules without taking an airline, which has the largest market share in India, into confidence. This was discussed. Clearly, Indigo walked back on its promise. And this has to be sort of dealt with by the state. You cannot say that the DGCA could not control the airline. It actually could have micromanaged the HR department. I mean, it may sound ridiculous at this point, but really the problem occurred because the DGCA was not looking into the hiring and the scheduling and the entire operations of Indigo. The state should have directly interfered. It's rather unfortunate. I'm all for private businesses being left alone. But if this is the way private businesses are going to conduct themselves, there is nothing left to say. Indigo make one fundamental mistake. Since the last 2 days, I've been asking just one question. They promised flights that were never going to fly. They confirmed bookings they were never going to adhere to. They got the passengers to the airport, got them to check in, do the entire security process when they had no intention to fly. You start off with the promise that, okay, we'll be flying in 2 hours. A lot of passengers are like, fine, we'll go ahead in 2 hours. That 2 hour become a cancellation 24 hours later. My problem is, why couldn't Indigo just be upfront and say, look, this is what we can do, this is what we can cater to, we can fly whoever we can, and we'll cancel the rest of you, the refunds will be issued. Why waste the time of the people? Why get them at the airport and have them go through all this harassment,
now
mental
that
harassment?
is an important point. You know, 2nd of December was the first day when we saw cancellations of Indigo flights. Despite that, Indigo was taking bookings. People were being asked to come to the airport to take the flights.
They were lying about the flights, Hena.
Yes, they were lying from day one. They did not give clear information. Sujit Paul.
And my mother-in-law were told your flight will take off in 2 hours.
See, what typically happens is that...
Then cancel.
See, what typically happens is that when any organization prioritizes more on the top lines, on profitabilities, etc., then all these things actually happens. So typically, if you really see, you know, they were supposed to do which they have not done. So probably, you know, it meant better profits for them. It meant better top lines for them, better EBITDAs, PRR. But what is it that happened? We all know. But, you know, what I really want to say is that this is a time when the entire country need to get united. We need to work well to see that we arrest the problem with immediate effect. That's the most important thing at this point of time. Everything else can follow. I think that's not the point. And more through this channel and multiple talks that, you know, I have done over the last 2 days, we have to make the passengers calm down, because the truth is that the employees who are there, even at the ground level for Indigo, they really cannot do anything. So there's no point, you know, shouting, hovering on them. There's no point throwing chairs on them. It will just worsen up the situation. So it is important that, you know, all of us, you know, who are there, we first appeal the mass to calm down, because there are certain situations which went out of control for Indigo, and we know that, you know, this could have been well managed, which have not been.
Situation did not go out of control on its own. It was perhaps a well-crafted strategy so that the airline does not have to hire more pilots.
It was in their hands. It was in their control.
Kapil Madan.
Can I come in here? Hina,
yes.
When one airline fails and the whole system collapses, I mean, that tells you that how fragile our aviation sector is. One airline and entire country was struggling with this. Now, I will not be repeating. I think, Suhail was very, very elaborate, and he made very, very, important point touching the subject. And I will not be repeating those points. But what I will tell you here is that, we've all seen, passengers missing flights, and they were, senior citizen, kids. And in fact, I noticed there was one person who said it was his marriage and he is not able to reach. In fact, there was one couple whose reception was on a particular day and they could not reach their own reception, and they, attended, through video conferencing. Now, my point here is that, why can't a government have a nodal officer appointed, to tackle situation like this at the airport? I have seen number of times, and I'm very sad to say we don't learn from our own mistakes. We have seen number of times the passengers shouting, passengers struggling with the airline staff, and they do not get any kind of resolution. They do not even get proper information, and they do not even get basic amenities to support themselves during this hour where they have to wait indefinitely. Now my very simple point, you don't need a rocket science to understand that if you have a nodal officer appointed by DGCA who can look into the grievance like these at the airport level and give them the resolution ASAP. Why can't you have that? I mean, you can't, this does not require, any special, thinking, thought process.
Absolutely.
It is as simple as that. I mean, at least what the passenger deserves is a clear information.
Clear communication. I think that's very, very important, which in this case did not happen at all from day one. There was no proper communication, and that's the reason why every single day we saw situation, going from bad to worse. We hope that the key stakeholders, the decision makers are listening. They have listened to the problems that the passengers have faced over the last 6 days, and we really hope they'll do something. We really hope the heads will roll. Some very important suggestions were made on the show as well, and we really hope that these are taken into consideration so that passengers and the misery that they have been facing over the last few days, that gets over and they are compensated as they should be getting in a situation like this. I'm completely out of time, but appreciate all of you for joining us here on this debate. Heading into a short break.